Hi everybody, I am back. I apologize if I start coughing. I'm still recuperating from whatever it was that was going around last week. But I wanted to take the time to give you a little better framework for the final project. Reading over the assignment sheet is going to be really overwhelming, and sometimes it's not always clear for students how to navigate the space of the final project. So the first thing that I want to do is really impress upon you that this is not just a strict report that you're going to be doing. You're going to do an evaluation of 2 to 3 items, concepts, tools, software packages, career pathways related to your professional field. Now, in the past, students have used this project as a way to help them make important decisions. Some of them have even used it and applied it to real-world practical research for their workforces. I'm going to give you lots of different examples, and there's another presentation for you to read through on framing the question, and that gives you a ton of different examples and ideas to move forward on with the project. What I want you to do today, though, is to pretend just for a second that we are having a conversation about helping me determine how to buy a vehicle. I know this sounds a little crazy, but I promise if you go with me, it will make sense by the end. So I am someone who is incredibly research and goal-minded when I go to buy a car. But you need to know some things about me as a person. And the first is that I'm looking for just what's considered a smaller SUV with 4 doors. It has to have good gas mileage. I am not savvy when it comes to vehicles, so I need it to have easy upkeep. And the number one priority that I really consider is it has to be safe. These are the things you should need to know. I'm going to buy it new. I put in a few road trips a year, especially to Virginia. I don't like to do maintenance. I am cheap. I am the person who will always be convinced I can find a better deal somewhere else. I am extremely aware of doing research before I buy. However, I'm also the person who can get sucked into any kind of extras, a button that I can push, an option that can be there. I will never own another sunroof. That's another story for another day, but if you've ever had a leaky one, you know the pain that I feel. And I do have pets. They like to be in the car. Sometimes they have to be transported in the car, so I like to make it as easy as possible on them. I'm going to stay local. I'm not going to be the person who drives 5 hours to save $2,000. While I am cheap, I am also busy, and that's just not an option for me. My budget is about $25,000. I prefer very traditional car colors, blue, silver, black, not as much because it gets really dirty. I like just an easy, decent warranty, and I'm looking to get a 2015 because, let's be real, the prices are going to start coming down on them right about now. So now that you kind of have an idea of who I am as somebody who shops, before we get into the specs of each of the possible vehicles, let me explain a few things to you. When I was a senior in college, I had a Pathfinder, and it was a 4-door, and I had a really terrible accident on my way home for Christmas. I was in a construction zone, and some equipment flew out in front of my vehicle, so I went from 70 to 0 in very little time. The vehicle behind me did not have enough time to stop, and his car, the guy who was driving, went under my Pathfinder, and so much so that the rear tire on my truck went through his windshield. When the cops got there, my driver's side seat actually gave away. I hit it with such force. Thankfully, I was wearing my seatbelt. And the only injury that anyone sustained in the actual accident was when the poor guy behind me in his Mazda Protege, when his airbag deployed, it cut his nose. So we were really lucky. But the cops were really frank with me, and they said that if I'd been driving any other type of vehicle, that I probably would have spun out into traffic and probably would have died. So I am very safety conscious, and that is part of what you have to set up in this framework as you get into your project. Once you kind of get an idea, you have to establish your priorities. Now, going back a slide, you'll see all these different things that I've given you that are important to me as a car buyer. But if I were to rank my priorities, safety is my number one. Then things like easy upkeep, because I don't like to do maintenance, probably would be number 2. price is right up there. Kind of extras, they make sense, and good gas mileage, reliability. Those things are all kind of my top 5 most important things. And you are going to have to set up your criteria as well for how you're going to evaluate the career pathway, the tool, or whatever it might be. So, keeping all these things in mind, here we are at, because I told you I do my research, the number 1 car considered in that class is the Subaru Forester. Now, its price point is about $30,000. It is here local at Wakem. And these are the specs on it. It meets all the criteria. We're looking at city and highway. Look at the safety. It gets an overall 5-star safety rating. Warranty looks good. It's got Bluetooth, heated seats, which, hey, let's be honest, living here in Ohio becomes important, especially this morning when I woke up to frost. It's all-wheel drive, which is also important here. Now, I've never had audio controls on my steering wheel before, but it seems like something that might be interesting to have. And it has a rear view backup camera. Looking through the reviews, one of the things that I saw on the Forester is that they said that the throttle is a little anxious, that it launches forward just a little bit. They said the front seats were comfortable, but they wish they were deeper, not as much side support, and they said that the sound quality is a little limited. It does have cloth seats, and I should mention I drink a tremendous amount of coffee, especially when I'm doing road trips down to Virginia. So I do tend to spill stuff. My current mechanic is astonished at their coffee stains on the ceiling of my car, and we're not sure how they got there. But that is something to consider. Now, the number 2 car is the Honda CR-V. It's local here at Wakem, and it's a price point at $25.4. And here are the specs on it. Again, 4-star overall safety rating, good warranty, same kind of warranty. And you're going to find at times that all things are going to be equal. Each of the vehicles I'm looking at meet my criteria of being a compact SUV, 4-door, and having pretty much the same warranty. That doesn't mean that the criteria isn't still important. It just means that kind of it's less of something you might consider if everything is the same. In terms of extras, it's got a Bluetooth, the audio controls, the rear view camera, and daytime running lights, again, cloth seats. And there was a little bit of a concern with some of the reviews. One owner said that when they bought the car, they felt like it needed to be tuned. And they test drove the car when it was cold. It didn't vibrate. When the car warms up, the vibrations are so bad that I do not like driving the car. So that's something to be concerned about. That doesn't sound very comfortable. And lastly, the GMC Terrain. And that again is local here. It's a price point of $27,485. Meets all the criteria of being a small SUV, 4 doors, safety, post-collision safety system, which I'm assuming is kind of like an OnStar system. 4-star overall rating, 4-star front collision, 5-star side. Same kind of warranty. Multi-level heated seats, adjustable lumbar support, a rear view camera. It's got roadside assistance. Again, I'm thinking that that's some type of OnStar system. 3 months of satellite radio and a USB port. Now, one of the reviews said that the 4-cylinder version feels a little sluggish. It is 4 cylinders. And that the real-world miles per gallon falls a lot short of the EPA ratings. And you need to also be aware that my niece drives one of these, and she has been very unhappy with the vehicle since she's bought it. So even though she may be an isolated event, we as individuals are also affected by other people's opinions, their experiences. So the question on the table is, which one do I buy? And what we would do is we would sit down and basically make a chart of Amy's top 5 priorities and then rank each one on where they fall in the priority chain. One of the things to notice is that even though price is one of my biggest priorities, it's not my top priority. I told you the story of my accident because for me, the question comes down to now, here we are with the Subaru Forester, and the price point is about $5,000 more than what I was willing to pay. But in an evaluation, you have to stop and consider, if safety is my absolute number 1 most important priority, and if the safety features are far more outstanding than the other 2 vehicles, is it worth it to me to spend the $5,000? And that would be a fair question to ask throughout the project. Even though something may have a drawback to it, are the benefits more important to you? Does that allow you to make this evaluation, not comparison, a little more manageable? Now, if we were to build this chart, what we would see is that actually the forester does come in number one in terms of my criteria. And you may want to make a chart for yourself, and I will upload a chart that kind of shows you my criteria, my priorities, and I'll attach it to this presentation when I put it up in just the PowerPoint version. So, it's not enough to determine which one is the best vehicle for Amy as a car buyer, but then I have to justify why. And in that justification section, what I may find is that there are going to be times where I have to make concessions or compromises based on my priorities. Again, like I was showing you with the Forester, even though it's a little more outside of my price range, it's not $20,000 outside of my price range, it's $5,000. Is that $5,000 too much, and am I willing to compromise on safety, or is it manageable in order to get the safer vehicle? As you move forward in this final project, you want to read through the assignment sheet very carefully because this is stair-stepped. This project is 60% of your overall grade, and one of the things I want you to be aware of is that it's broken down into 4 separate pieces, and I'm going to help you through each and every one of them. In fact, this week, once you get some topics rolling, what I'm going to do is help you create an outline and give you an example outline so you can stay on target. The biggest place that people make mistakes is that they want to write a comparison, this versus this, and that's not how this process is set up. It is evaluating the tools, the skills, the pathways, the vehicles in this example to determine which one is best for this particular car buyer. You're going to have a lot of resources that are available to you. You can use your textbooks from your classes if that's relevant. You can talk to your professors. You can go to industry professionals. You've got your traditional web-based research. And you also have our digital library. I am more than willing to help you guys navigate through all the research, and I have another presentation for you to read through to help you understand what types of research methods might be best for you in this scenario. Read through everything, and then I'm going to have the discussion forum go up, and you guys can start pitching your topics, and I can help you get to a good place that will help you be successful with the final project.